Coverage you can count on. Way 31 News at 10 starts now.
You're trying to convince yourself you're not seeing what you're seeing.
We're stunned. We want him here with us.
And I am so angry that the justice system has failed Nick. And this man was walking free.
I don't know what we'd have done without him.
Sergeant Risner performed a selfless act by ending the pursuit and putting himself in grave danger. And today, we're at Huntsville Hospital and we lost a great man.
Remembering a hero. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Dan Schaefer.
And I'm Brittany Harry. Sheffield Police Sergeant Nick Risner died this morning after being shot in the line of duty. The shootout happened yesterday behind the Walmart on Avalon Avenue in Muscle Shoals. Another officer, Lieutenant Max Dotson, was also hit. Dotson is in stable condition. Risner died in the hospital early this morning.
The suspect, Brian Martin, was also shot. He is in stable condition at Huntsville Hospital. We know Martin pleaded guilty to manslaughter for killing his father back in 2013. He was released from prison in 2016. The Sheffield community expressed anger over the decision to let that killer back on the streets.
The perpetrator should never have been let out of prison, shouldn't have been given the lighter sentence that he received in the first place. And it's just devastating to us that it's resulted in the loss of a great officer.
Many Sheffield community members echo those feelings of frustration.
And we also learned the identity of a second person investigators say was killed by Brian Martin yesterday. Muscle Shoals police say Martin shot 58-year-old William Clare McBlack Jr. in his own vehicle. Witnesses say Martin shot Mealback twice and threw him out onto the street. Police say Mealback and Martin had been close friends before the deadly encounter. And we have team coverage tonight as we remember the life and legacy of Sergeant Nick Risner.
We want to begin that team coverage by handing things over to Way 31's Marie Waxel. Marie.
Well, just hours ago, Sergeant Risner was given the beginnings of a proper farewell. His body transported to UAB for organ donation, something his family tells me he was adamant about doing if he were to pass. His ambulance, as you see there, joined by dozens of law enforcement vehicles from Huntsville and surrounding areas. This procession escorted him to 565, to I-65, and all the way down to Birmingham tonight. His body will be escorted back to Huntsville for an autopsy before going back to the Shoals. Now, I talked with Sergeant Risner's family and closest friends today, and they're doing about as well as you would expect given the situation. In fact, Lieutenant Max Dotson, the second Sheffield police officer hit in the shootout, offered some words about his friend, a man who was loved by so many.
You ask anybody that really knows him deep down, it's no surprise to anybody.
To say Sergeant Nick Risner loved wearing the badge is an understatement. He proudly served the city of Sheffield since March of 2012, and before that, he spent 8 years in the Army Reserve.
He's a community guy. He's always wanting to get the dog out and show the kids.
Ask anyone in the Shoals, and Nick is well known, well loved, and well respected. The type of officer who left you better than he found you.
Whether it be taking money out of his own pocket to pay for somebody's meal or, just getting out and playing basketball with kids.
Risner made every effort to break the barrier between the badge and those he vowed to serve and protect. In fact, he became quite the star on social media.
He loved entertaining people.
That's just my baby dog. That's just my baby dog.
He liked making people laugh. If you were at the station with him, he's always joking, pulling a prank. But he took his job very seriously at the same time. When it was time to work, it was time to go to work.
The only thing he loved more than his job and his fellow officers was his family. Sergeant Risner leaves behind a wife, daughter, his parents, 2 brothers, and a lot of nieces and nephews.
We're stunned. We want him here with us, but his actions have spoken, and I think people will remember him for exactly who he was.
A man who loved life and wasn't afraid to use his own life to save others.
We lost a great man.
His family wanted everyone to know your prayers and messages and personal stories of Nick have not gone unnoticed. In fact, he touched countless lives while serving his community. One of those lives was Emma Gregory, a woman Risner saved from committing suicide. In fact, he found Gregory standing on a bridge and after talking her back to safety, hugged her and introduced her to his canine, Whiskey. Years later, Risner and Gregory were still friends as his infection for life spread to her. Tomorrow, we'll sit down with Gregory to hear her explain exactly what Risner meant to her. Members of that Shoals community came together tonight for a vigil at the Sheffield Police Department. That vigil wrapped up just a few hours ago. WAAY 31's Olivia Schuler joins us live after spending the day in Colbert County. Olivia, tell us, how are those officers doing out there tonight?
Marie, tonight was really a night for the officers to remember Sergeant Risner, who they worked with each and every day here at Sheffield Police Department. And a lot of times you hear that in law enforcement, they are both brothers and their sisters, and together that family came together to remember their fallen hero.
He wouldn't have wanted to go out no other way. That's what he loved.
Officers, along with the community, remembering Sergeant Nick Risner tonight as a selfless man.
He went beyond his means to do anything and everything for that person.
Sergeant Risner passed away today after being shot several times in Muscle Shoals on Friday. To his brothers and sisters in blue, he paid the ultimate sacrifice.
We wake up, put this vest on, knowing that we could be days we don't come home to our families.
Tonight's vigil giving officers and members of the community the opportunity to share prayers and their memories of their fallen hero. Many in the community say Sergeant Risner was a man that loved his community more than anything.
That was truly one of Nick's passions. He loved helping people.
Sergeant Risner helping his own coworkers, even if he didn't know it at the time.
He was basically my mentor. That was the biggest thing he preached to me was, hey, be the community officer and be the all-around officer.
Officer Barnett saying now every day he puts on his vest, it's Risner he'll remember.
I'm going to live through him. I'm not going to let what happened stop me.
Sergeant Hurston says there's a little peace when this community comes together to this magnitude. Even when everyone in this community is shaken, tonight was a moment for everyone to be still.
Right now we're taking the right steps. We're coming together, and we're letting our emotions out.
People I talked to in the community say all they can do now is take it day by day. The mayor of Sheffield saying there are some dark days ahead of us. Reporting live in Sheffield, Olivia Schuler, WAAY 31 News.
And through it all, we're hearing words hero and mentor being shared. Someone who really just made you feel good about yourself. Someone who loved doing what he did each and every day. Now, from the Sheffield Police Department to businesses in the community, another vigil took place earlier today at a local restaurant near the department. WAAY 31's Xavier Wary takes us there.
Here at City Hall, the flag is at half-staff as today down the street people gathered and mourned the loss of Officer Nick Risner. Everyone who spoke today mentioned how Officer Risner was always lending a helping hand in the community.
Nick was such a standout in the Sheffield community.
His loss leaving many people devastated, but now a community is coming together to honor and remember him. A large crowd gathered at Vertillo Pizza today to show their support.
Sheffield community has suffered such a great loss with this.
We lost a good one, and he went down a hero.
Christy Puckett Dover believes the man accused of killing Risner should not have been a free man.
And I am so angry that the justice system has failed Nick, and this man was walking free.
Santana Davis says the loss of a friend is a sad reality.
We will now have to honor a hero that has been a close friend of ours for many years.
But it was the strength of a community that helped ease the pain.
It means so much that y'all have showed up in support of him.
Now, I spoke with a former police officer who said that yes, training is very limited when it comes to dealing with the death of an officer, but he told me that this is a huge opportunity for the community to come together and to unite. From Sheffield, I'm Xavier Wary, WAAY 31 News.
Now, the Sheffield Police Department credits Sergeant Risner with saving multiple lives at the Walmart where that shootout happened. Way 31's Grace Campbell spoke with a Walmart employee who witnessed this deadly shootout.
Brandon Stagg says he was heading back into work when he heard the gunshots and realized the shooting was close by. He told me he was in shock.
It's not like you see on TV. You don't go running, you freeze.
Stagg says the Walmart parking lot was full and everyone was in pure disbelief.
I froze right when it happened. Our customers froze right when it happened. You're just staring and you're trying to convince yourself you're not seeing what you're seeing. Because I saw the police cars and I saw the smoke, but I'm thinking, oh, a car's on fire. You're thinking, you know, fireworks are going off. You're doing all these things to try to convince yourself you're not seeing what you're actually seeing.
But his mind wasn't playing tricks on him. He was actually witnessing multiple shots being fired right next to his work.
I could see them ducking and weaving in this general area, kind of ducking and weaving behind their cars, and then you could just see the smoke and you could see the ricochets coming off the mall over here.
Stagg says he will forever be grateful for the heroic officers and fears what would have happened if the shooter got any closer.
They stopped him 100 feet from Walmart. You know, what would have happened if he would have gotten there and done something terrible, you know. So, I mean, we really owe a debt of gratitude to Sheffield, to Muscle Shoals, and all the surrounding police. I don't know what we'd have done without him.
Stagg says he heard so many gunshots he had to check himself to make sure no stray bullets hit him. But thankfully, law enforcement did everything they could to make sure they were keeping the community safe. Reporting in Muscle Shoals, Grace Campbell, Way 31 News.
Dan and Brittany, hearts are heavy, not just in the Shoals tonight, but all across the state. Sergeant Nick Risner, as you just heard, was truly one of a kind, and his legacy will live on through those of us who were honored just to know him.
Thanks, Maria. I know you have a personal connection to the people and communities out there in the Shoals, and I want to thank you for bringing that empathy to your reporting and helping us get to know Sergeant Risner a little better.
Yeah, it was wonderful. I mean, for someone like me that never got the chance to know him, I am honored to be here, and you did a great job.
Thank you.
Thanks, Maria. The last time a Sheffield police officer was killed, by the way, was way back in 1938. Chief B.B. Cox was breaking up a fight at a dance hall when he was shot with a Colt 45. He was shot in the liver. Cox was able still to return fire and kill that suspect. Cox had been with the department for 10 years. He left behind a wife and 6 children, just 49 years old. Sergeant Risner is one of 3 officers shot in Alabama in the last 48 hours.
We'll hear from Governor Kay Ivey and a former U.S. attorney about those recent shootings.
We'll also get reaction to Risner's death from agencies and officials across the state. Stay with us.